G'day there, welcome to the Polestar space in Munich for this, the Polestar 5, our first close-up look at this very exciting car. The car that Polestar's boss is calling a statement of intent for the company's future. Although with 650 kilowatts and 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds, it's just a statement, and not with a full stop, but with an exclamation mark. What a car. Welcome to our German garage.
Subscribe to see the first drives of New Zealand's newest and best cars driven on New Zealand roads and New Zealand conditions.
So the Polestar 5, well, it's all the numbers. It is the fifth Polestar, but it is the first 100% Polestar. I'll explain it. You see, the 1, the 2, and the 3, like which is behind me, they're based on Volvo platforms. And then you've got this one, the 4, which actually shares a platform with Lotus. The 5, though, is bespoke. It is all Polestar. And that's exactly why Polestar's boss, Michael Loschler, has called it Polestar's perfect flagship. And yes, before you ask, it is coming to New Zealand in early 2026. Well, this car was one of the big reveals at this year's International Automotive Exhibition in Munich. But here's the thing, it was actually supposed to be revealed 5 years ago at the Geneva Motor Show as the preset prototype. The reason it wasn't, that thing called COVID. Well, the Geneva show came and went, but the preset didn't. Polestar kept working on this car. It sort of went back undercover, but also not undercover. It would pop out now and then, camouflaged. It ran at Goodwood, wasn't that exciting? And then they made a series of videos showing the testing of this car. It's about 15 or 16 episodes long. So yes, this was the big reveal, but this car has been out and about. And speaking of that Goodwood run, a few months after that, I got to actually have a ride in the preset at, it was actually Volvo's truck testing track in Gothenburg. This is the first time I've been able to talk about it. It's a bit like Fight Club. You weren't allowed to mention it, but what a car to be in. This car is horrendously quick. We're talking 1,015 Newton meters. Sorry, they're packing up from the event. We're only a day after the big reveal of this car, but one heck of a machine. But now it is finally real and ready for production. Well, let's talk about design. Now, I mentioned the preset. The key thing about this car is very little has changed in the overall design compared to the preset. It still looks the same. It's low and sleek, only 142 centimeters tall, and is a sort of inspired by the wing of an aircraft. And just looking at it, you've got gentle curves like a wing, but then there's also a lot of angular touches as well. I sort of liken it to a stealth fighter. And here's where it's really cool. If we come around the back, this is the best angle of the Polestar 5, that cam tail and the Polestar light show. No one does light shows as well as Polestar. And I mentioned this sort of aeronautic theme. Well, it's not just in looks. This car has a drag coefficient of just 0.24. It's not just a beast, it's a slippery beast. And before you ask, like Polestar 4, there is no back window. When we're inside, I'll show you why. What helps this car be so slippery is this low bonnet line, which is really, really sleek, and it's down to some clever suspension packaging. And you come around the front and you see the headlights. I won't call them Thor's hammer, that's long gone. You're not allowed to call them that anymore. They're now Polestar blades. Now the whole lowness and the clever packaging is all down to the fact that this car uses a bespoke platform. And here's the thing too, it's built out of high strength aluminium. This car is super rigid. In fact, it's got the same torsional rigidity as a 2-seat supercar. Let's be honest, it's sort of the same performance as well. And as well as the aluminium sort of structure holding the car together, there is also aluminium bodywork. This car is light, well, as light as it can be for an EV because there is a battery. We are talking 2.5 tons. In fact, let's talk battery numbers right now. 112 kilowatt hours, that's a big battery. This car also uses 800 volt electrical architecture. What does that mean? Well, faster charging. And to give you an idea of the speed of charging, 10 to 80% in 22 minutes. Now you're going to say, well, hang on, some cars are quicker than that. But let's just keep in mind that's a big battery. That's about 450 kilometers in that time. Some other numbers with that and the EV side of it. A range, 670 Ks is what you'll get out of the dual motor version. This performance, the Big Daddy, 565 kilometers. Now I chuck all those numbers at you and you think, what do they really mean in New Zealand? Well, I've done some sums, and if I'm wrong, don't quote me on it too much, but in 13 minutes, you'll get enough charge in this car to get from Auckland to Taupō. The Polestar are known for sort of non-flashy styling. They don't make a big noise about what they can do, except when it comes to the stickers on the cars. And there you have it, the 112 kilowatt hour, 650 kilowatts, and the brakes too, not just that Polestar Gold. These are Brembo 4-pot calipers. They are serious units, similar to what's on the Polestar 3, but with some clever aluminium structures inside, 12 kilos lighter, 22-inch wheels on this one too, special Michelin rubber. You can get 20-inch wheels though on the dual motor version. Now I mentioned the 650 kilowatts. The rear motor alone in this car puts out 450 kilowatts. It's a rocket, like I said. I won't say the numbers again. I will though share the numbers for the dual motor version, the slower version, 550 kilowatts. It will still go from 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds. You know, I think it's really cool that Polestar are finally making a bit of a noise about performance. 3.2 seconds, it's ultra quick. No, it's not the fastest EV in the world, but it is properly fast. Let's be more practical now. Let's talk about boot space. The 65 litre frunk up the front, and in the back here 365 litres. And like all the Polestars, you get extra storage below the boot as well, and the seats will fold down as well. Right, let's look inside now to see what the Polestar 5 is all about. I'm going to start in the back seats for a few reasons. This car is not really a 5-seater, it's a 4+1. This centre console, which has all sorts of controls on it, also folds back, and you get this jump seat that sits a little bit proud of the rear seats, but they sell it as mainly a 4-seater. Another thing that stands out in the back is the space. I'm just over 6 foot. I'm not bouncing my head off the roof, which by the way is glass. It's 2 meters long, 1.5 meters wide, and because of that no back window, it goes right back. Lots of room. Also plenty of leg room as well, and foot room too. You can't put them under the seat in front like with most EVs, but there's sort of a hollow spaced out, and also for the middle passenger. Polestar call it a foot garage. So they've sculpted out the top of the battery pack, so you're not sort of sitting up here like you do with some EVs. And like the Polestar 4, the rear seats recline. And they look just like the front seats, but they're not. I'll explain why in a moment. But before we jump in the front, I want to mention something about these front seats. This material here is called Amplitexer. They've used it instead of carbon fiber. It's actually made using flax, so it's better for the environment. But what's really cool, because see, carbon fiber is not that good for the environment, is that it's 40% lighter than plastic. Super tough. Now let's stick with the whole eco side of things. These seats use bridge of wear leather, but you can get Polestar's Microtech. The carpets though made using recycled fishing nets. And as for this hood lining, they actually use recycled plastic soft drink bottles. But let's talk about the cool stuff. These front seats, I said they're special, it's because they're built by Recaro. How cool is that? And you sit low, you get the whole sports car feel in the car. You got the 9-inch display on the column like you get in the Polestar 4 and 3. There's a 9-inch heads-up display, and then a 14.5-inch screen here, the main screen. And what's really cool is there's an option in it of 4 tiles at the bottom which you can customize, and also to the shortcut buttons. You can have 6 different options there. So it's one of those cars where the whole digital interface doesn't make the car hard to use because there's a lack of knobs. What's really cool with Polestar though, you do get the volume knob down here, and it's a beautiful piece of art. Speaking of volume, Bowers & Wilkins sound system in this car, well over 1,000 watts of grunt. There's even a sound bar in the back. This car is designed to make trips an absolute pleasure. Actually, speaking of tech too, this car is after all Swedish, so let's talk safety. 11 cameras on this car plus a radar. 11 cameras. I remember when provincial rugby was covered with less than that many cameras. So it's safe for the environment and safe for you. That's what Polestar does. Well, that's our quick look, our first look at the Polestar 5. I cannot wait to drive this car, especially with the level of swagger that we've heard, especially from Polestar's boss, who even mentioned Porsche when he talked about rivals for this car. It doesn't get any sort of higher benchmark than that. I cannot wait to drive Polestar 5 in New Zealand, counting down the months.